Mr. Hayes. Mr. Martin Hayes.
Yes?
I'm Detective Inspector Fitzgerald. This is Detective Sergeant Power. Is your wife at home?
What?
Mrs. Hayes.
No. No, she isn't.
What about your daughter?
She's not here either. What's this about?
We're just trying to ascertain where your wife and daughter are, Mr. Hayes.
Because?
Because it's our job, Mr. Hayes.
My wife's out. She went to Belfast to see her aunt. She's sick and Andy wanted to make sure there was food in the house. You know, Katie went with her.
And you didn't think of informing the school?
Well, she's only 7. We didn't think she'd be hurt by a few days off.
How did she go to Belfast?
What?
Your wife. How did she get to Belfast?
The train.
Which train?
The Belfast train.
The time, Mr. Hayes. What time did our train leave?
Look. What's this about?
Do you know Mrs. O'Mara, Mr. Hayes? She works at your daughter's school.
Yeah, she called, wanted to know when Katie would be back.
Well, you see, Mr. Hayes, Mrs. O'Mara has also gone missing.
My wife's not missing. She's in Belfast.
No one's accusing you of anything, Mr. Hayes. But would you mind if we took a look around? Just to put our minds at rest.
Who did you say your wife had gone to see in Belfast?
Her Aunt Bessie.
You wouldn't have her number by any chance, would you?
She's my wife's aunt. I don't have the number.
Easy, Martin.
And how is she? That's Aunt Bessie.
You're just fishing.
Is she on the mend?
I don't know. I suppose so.
I couldn't use your toilet, please, Mr. Hayes. Call of nature.
Sure, there's one in the hall.
You see, the thing of it is, Mr. Hayes, is that you told Mrs. O'Mara your wife had gone to Belfast to see her mother, not her aunt.
She must have been confused.
She wrote it down in a memo to the headmistress. She doesn't strike me as the sort of woman to be confused. Bit of a stickler for detail, by all accounts.
Sir, there's something here I think you should look at. This looks like blood.
Might be best if you come down to the station for a chat, Mr. Hayes. Straighten things out. So, how are you doing, Mr. Hayes? Treating you all right, are we?
Am I under arrest?
No, not as such. Birthday present for my son, so I figured I had to wear it, you know. The wife bought it, really. My boy's only 8. I think she just enjoys embarrassing me. What about your wife, Mr. Hayes?
What do you mean?
Does she embarrass you? Does she sometimes get on your nerves?
What the hell are you talking about?
Your wife is missing. So is your daughter.
They're not missing. They're in Belfast.
We've spoken to your mother-in-law, Mr. Hayes. She's never heard of a Bessie.
Well, I don't think she was a real aunt. Sort of an older friend, you know. I mean, Andy called her auntie.
What about the blood in the hall?
My wife tripped a few days ago.
Did she go to hospital?
It was just a graze.
You sure there isn't something you want to tell us, Mr. Hayes? Something you'd like to get off your chest?
You think I killed her? Is that it? You think I murdered my wife and daughter and buried them in the garden? Is that it?
No need to get upset, Mr. Hayes. If everything happened as you've told us, you've nothing to worry about.
Still, if we could speak with them, we'd be a great deal happier.
When my wife calls, I'll get her to call you. Can I go now?
We'd rather you stayed here for a while, Mr. Hayes, while we continue with our inquiries. We'd like to give your house a going over. It's standard procedure. With your permission, of course.
And if I don't give my permission?
Then we'll get a warrant. But then we'd have to make it official. So, if I could have your keys. Morning, Mr. Hayes.
Hiya, Katie. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Are you sure? Would you like a Coke or a 7-Up or something? Okay. Well, you know why you're here?
Not me.
Well, we think we have one of the men, that's right. But we need to be sure, and that's why you're here. We'd like you to help us with what's called an identity parade. Now, do you know what that is?
You have a line of men, and I look at them and tell you if one of them is one of the men who kidnapped me.
Good girl. That's exactly right.
Are we ready?
Take your time, Katie.
He's not there.
Are you sure?
Would you like to take a little bit longer?
There's no need to be scared, Katie. We'll put him in prison for a long, long time. He'll never be able to hurt you again.
He's not there.